it's so much better than most people's that everybody who fights him doesn't understand what he can do until he does.
Fast, powerful. Both.
Fast, powerful, distance management, angles that it comes from. It comes up, it comes around. It just hits you faster than you know it's supposed to get there. It's so much quicker and has so much pop on it. It's so dangerous. And like he fought Devin Haney, who is one of the best pure boxers in the sport. He's so good. But he just didn't have the understanding yet.
A guy that's confident. He's a guy that's a world champion. He's a guy who throws a lot of punches. He's a guy who's younger, who's active. You know?
Ryan is a brilliant fighter. I'm not saying that he's a bad fighter or anything, but he's a brilliant fighter. And I mean, probably got one of the best left hooks in boxing history.
So would you be yelling, throw the hook?
I think I would be. That's his bread and butter. So that's what he needs to do.
You like the horse trick?
Yeah, I like to feel like my punch because I could deliver it where I want it, just dig in there. But with Campbell, I'm like, all right, I just gotta do it.
Yeah, because you're right. You can feel where you're placing it. Yeah, exactly.
Like you're right in the inside, and you just see their head and you just.
Ryan, this isn't just another training clip, it's a warning signal disguised as highlight footage, because what people are reacting to in Ryan Garcia's latest sessions isn't hype, it's pattern recognition. Sharper hand speed, tighter defense, and conditioning that looks engineered rather than accidental. And according to performance trends from recent elite camps, fighters who show measurable defensive improvements this late usually aren't just chasing confidence, they're correcting past failures. And psychologically, this resonates because fans don't just want to believe in growth. They want proof that chaos is being replaced by control, which is the real currency of credibility in boxing.
Head.
How are you? What's up, champ?
What's up, man? How you doing?
You good? Looking good, man. Looking good. Sharp, huh? Yeah. He's on the ring.
Looks simple, Garcia grinding in the gym for Mario Barrios, but strategically this is about rewriting identity, because speed drills and defensive work aren't flashy, they're the language of discipline, and data from recent championship fights shows that fighters who shift focus from power to efficiency usually do it because they've learned that raw talent gets you attention. But systems win fights, and at a human level this lands because people don't admire effort, they admire transformation.
Tres. Y luego 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Y aquí. Sí, güey. Ya. 3, 4, 5. Y ahora.
When Oscar De La Hoya walked into Ryan Garcia's camp, it wasn't nostalgia, it was optics. Because rocky relationships don't resurface by accident in high-stakes moments. And historically in boxing, power figures only reappear when the narrative needs stabilizing, which suggests this visit wasn't emotional, it was strategic. A reminder that behind every fighter is a business machine trying to manage perception before reality hits the ring.
Born and raised, man.
And Chula Vista, baby.
Chula Vista, boy. You've been hitting this since you were a baby, huh?
Not this exact one, but similar. He used to the shot.
Oh, wow.
He used to keep his head like here.
Yeah, I was right here. I was always right here.
And they say, don't do that. And you just keep doing it.
I never listened. I knew what I was doing.
This camp feels different because it's built around restraint, not noise, and that shift matters more than any viral clip because disciplined preparation is what separates contenders from performers. And according to training cycle analysis, fighters who adopt stricter routines after a loss aren't chasing redemption, they're trying to rebuild internal authority, which psychologically works because people trust structure more than speeches.
A lot of talking out there. You're on top. Tell the two-time world champion by accident. July 19th. July 19th. The truth is tough. Downhill.
The real evolution isn't the left hook, it's the attempt to outgrow it because smarter punch selection and defensive footwork signal that Garcia is trying to become a complete fighter instead of a highlight reel, and coldly speaking, endurance work at higher weight is less about stamina and more about survival because longer fights expose mental cracks faster than physical ones, and this is where careers either mature or collapse. Even his diet tells a story, because disciplined nutrition isn't about aesthetics, it's about emotional regulation, and performance data consistently shows that fighters with strict dietary control show lower stress responses under pressure, which means this isn't about being lean, it's about being predictable in a sport where unpredictability destroys champions.
Today we're going to be cooking tortellini with chicken. We're going to be having some carbs in this meal and some protein. It all depends on where we are in the camp, how much weight we are away from our fight weight, where it will determine on what kind of meals we will be having to make sure that we have as much energy and to make sure that we are meeting the weight. We're ahead of schedule. We have about 2 weks left. From here on out, we're on cruise control, super consistent with this training. He's allowed to eat this meal. There you go, man.
Feeling great. Gio's cooking is really good. super good.
Here's a little snack. This is to get all the sweet cravings. It's a healthy version. Rice cake, almond butter, and some chocolate.
When Ryan Garcia vowed to dominate Mario Barrios, it sounded like confidence, but psychologically it functions as self-programming, because verbal dominance is often used to override internal doubt. And while critics will argue this is just talk, history shows that fighters who publicly commit to control are usually trying to lock themselves into a mental contract they can't escape.
You're royalty. You feel like you're a top dog. You're the king. And I think that's what everybody's shooting for, to be that king over everybody, king over the opponents, king over the division, king over, you want to be the king, just like LeBron James. He's King James. He's king of the court. I want to be king.
The Joe Goosen situation isn't personal drama, it's structural instability, and despite Garcia claiming mental focus, data from elite sports psychology shows that external conflicts reduce decision clarity even when athletes say they're unaffected, because the mind can ignore emotions, but it can't erase unresolved power struggles.
Look at my lips. Oh, he already know. This is about to be a... Oh, it's going to be bad, because I know all that. I know what he's training like. I know everything. You know, they could say, like, oh, he knows, but he didn't train with me long enough. I know, been knowing Joe since I was 17. I know exactly, and I haven't trained with him. I just watched him, so I know exactly how he trains his fighter, exactly what they're doing. So to me, it was like, oh, thank God you gave me an advantage. Like, it's just another advantage for me. And, you know, word leaks, things leak, you know. Joe was a part of that. I don't want to get too into it, but, you know.
You think Joe was leaking stuff?
I don't know. I didn't say that. Allegedly. I don't know. I have no clue.
Mario, a lot of trainers in boxing. Why'd you go with the one that used to train Ryan Garcia?
I mean, it was like, I'm in like a position with these next couple years. I want to do as much as I can with boxing.
Calling Goosen a traitor wasn't emotional weakness, it was emotional exposure, because real competitors don't suppress conflict, they externalize it, and this resonates with fans because people trust intensity more than politeness, even when it signals internal turbulence.
Not just Joe. This man called the Avengers. I call him the traitor. They got Wally, you got Justin Fortune, even though he was one time. We're not too, mad at him. But we do got some gifts for them. Everybody's probably wondering why I'm wearing the backpack.
Do I have to?
Oh, this one's for Wally, but we'll save that. We'll save Joe's first.
Trainer, right?
Okay,
yeah. Right.
The program.
I hope.
The trainer. Joe. There you go. Dude. Wally's somewhere. Wally's somewhere.
Goosen's response was cold, almost surgical. This is business, not feelings, and that framing reveals the real villain behavior in modern boxing. Treating relationships as disposable contracts. And while critics will argue this professionalism is necessary, it still fails at a human level because fighters aren't corporations. They're psychologically dependent systems built on trust.
The heated press conference after all. First thoughts, what do you make of, obviously, the heated press conference that, you got a t-shirt from Ryan, and obviously he said some things.
Well, I didn't accept the t-shirt, so I didn't get anything from Ryan.
Were you surprised that he came, from that direction? Were you surprised at how he handled the situation, knowing that you guys spent, a couple camps together?
I really don't know what the hell he's talking about, to tell you the truth. Well, that's all right. I mean, I don't want to spend time trying to figure it out. I thought I explained myself at the dais as best I could. But, I don't know what's going through another man's head about me.
Is this the first time on stage that a fighter has told you that?
Told me what?
Where he said he was disappointed that you were training the opponent.
That he was disappointed with
you training his opponent.
Yeah. No, that's the first time I've heard that. Yeah.
Does it hurt?
What?
Does it hurt you, like as a trainer, as a man?
Look, I've known Ryan since he's been a kid.
That's why I hurt him so much, don't you think? He took it personal. He said the long rides. He was talking about the amateur days.
I know. Look, I've got a heart, okay? I understand. But, it's like I say, I really don't even like talking about it because it seems like it's very personal and
When Robert Garcia questioned Ryan's trainer instability, he wasn't attacking talent, he was diagnosing structure, because going through 3 elite coaches and ending up training with family suggests emotional comfort is replacing professional accountability, and according to long-term performance trends, fighters who become their own boss often peak early and decline fast, not due to lack of skill, but due to lack of friction.
The ring, high stakes. Roberts, what's your thought on that matchup?
Look, it's a good matchup for Ryan. I think Ryan has the skills, the power, the speed to actually go and become champion, but there's a few things that I see that might not be in his favor. And look, Barrios is dedicated. I know him. He's actually a good friend, a good person. And they chose him because they think Ryan has everything it takes to become champion, to become the World Heavyweight champion, because they're already planning on huge fights with Devin Haney and whatever out there for Ryan. But the fact that Ryan, has gone through 3 top trainers that would have done a great job, Eddie Reynoso, Joe Goosen, and Derek James.
Correct.
And he's not training with neither of them. He's training with his dad, which I'm not saying the dad is not, the dad brought him through the amateurs, but when he left his dad or went to seek a different track.
Max Kellerman's comparison to the NFL wasn't random, it was strategic because high-performance environments succeed through hierarchy, not freedom, and psychologically, athletes resist control until failure forces them to accept it, which is why this critique cuts so deep. Talent without structure feels powerful, but statistically, it loses more often than it wins.
Big Baby Miller pointed it out, because there's no structure. And hopefully that'll happen with Zuffa Boxing, and I am a part of Zuffa Boxing, full disclosure. The first fight coming up on the 23rd.
Oh, congrats, Max. Congrats,
but you need some kind of.
On that card,
there
so
you go.
Good.
You need some kind of.
Right?
So the undercard has not been announced yet, but yeah, we could talk about
what names, but yeah,
But we need some kind of structure. In the NFL, the guy has to sit there for the media interview. He shows up on time. Yep. He's got to do it. Yep. And to give you an NFL analogy. Think about the Broncos, right? When they had Russell Wilson over there and he had his own office and everything. And it was nothing, it was dysfunctional. Then they hired Sean Payton.
Cut it out.
As a coach, that's like going to train with Goosen or going to train with a world-class trainer, right? And you knew as soon as Sean Payton got there, ain't no one's going to have their own office. And you turn around a couple years later, and they're great.
Mikey Garcia's point about mindset is the most honest analysis in this entire buildup because skill is visible, but focus is invisible. And data from recent title fights shows that mental preparation predicts outcomes more accurately than physical metrics, which means this fight isn't really about speed or power. It's about which version of Ryan shows up inside his own head.
Mario Barrios versus Ryan Garcia. Who you got in that fight?
Oh, man. You know what? It's a difficult decision because it depends on what Ryan shows up. If the explosive, fast, and strong Ryan shows up, he's got a really good chance.
He's got it. He's the champion.
However, if
Barrios got the belt.
Mario Barrios uses his experience, which he has, and we see the Ryan that fought Rolly, for example, then Barrios would win.
Okay, so
it kind of falls on Ryan, which Ryan shows up to fight.
If Ryan's on his game, you got Ryan?
I got Ryan.
Hey, you're a class act. Good luck on the. Hopefully, I think you're going to get into the international.
Jeff Mayweather's criticism after the Devin Haney fight wasn't about training habits. It was about narrative manipulation, because pretending not to care is a defense mechanism, and psychologically, audiences punish perceived inauthenticity more than actual failure, which explains why Garcia's image took more damage than his record.
I'm just being honest. He should not be fighting for a world title, and he's just coming off a loss. But the reality is what I said before. Social media is the reason why. Because Mario Barrios, even though he's a champion, he needs Ryan Garcia to get a big payday.
What do you think is the biggest weakness that Ryan still hasn't fixed yet?
I don't know. I mean, I think that I don't know if it's his ability to fight. I don't think there's nothing wrong there. I think it's mental. It's his mental because every time you don't know if he's playing or if he's, actually really going through something. So, I mean, I would say mental.
Greg Hackett's warning sounds simple, but it's lethal. This fight depends on which Ryan appears, because inconsistency is the silent killer of elite careers. And while fans want certainty, boxing history is filled with talented fighters who lost not to opponents, but to their own unresolved identity.
First, we have Ryan Garcia and Barrios. I mean, I'm getting a lot of mixed emotions with a lot of different people talking about this fight. Who do you think wins it? And speaking of the welterweight division, there's a lot of the younger guys coming up. You got the Tiger Johnsons that need to start getting these fights, the Polancos that need to get these fights. So we need the new breed to start getting the big stages as well with some good competition. But yeah.
I mean, I think Ryan and Barrios is actually a good fight, because when have we seen Ryan in the ring with somebody his height? You know what I'm saying? So I think we're looking at a real boxing match. Could he overwhelm Barrios? Yeah, but where is he mentally? Ryan Garcia has been spending time with YouTubers and streamers and like that. He ain't really been training. So what type of Ryan are we getting? I mean, are we going to get the front runner Ryan who go in there and try his best for 2-3 rounds and then for the rest of the fight.
Mario Barrios demanding no excuses is subtle psychological warfare because it frames the fight as a test of authenticity, not outcome. And strategically, this puts pressure on Garcia to validate his preparation rather than just win, which shifts the battlefield from the ring to the mind.
Well, I mean, just going into this fight, I know Ryan, he is, like I said, he is a dangerous opponent. And I think, he's said it best himself, right? You never know what Ryan Garcia that you're going to get. But him and his team, they're promising that he's focused, that he's training hard and he's the sharpest he's ever looked and all this stuff. And that's why I said, I hope so, right? Because I know everything that I'm doing. I know the type of performance that I'm looking to have, and I wouldn't want like a victory for me, to be sold short because he's like, oh, I wasn't focused or this or that, like, oh, like he was streaming or he was doing this,
drinking at the bar.
yeah, doing whatever he is, in his.
This is redemption wrapped in risk, because after losses to fighters like Gervonta Davis, this bout isn't about a belt, it's about credibility. And if Garcia succeeds, the narrative becomes growth, but if he fails, the story becomes structural collapse, and the future impact is clear. If instability continues, the next phase of his career won't be about opponents, it'll be about trust.
Yeah, I think he knows this is his opportunity. This is his golden opportunity because he didn't technically or necessarily deserve this opportunity, but he has everything to gain, but yes, everything to lose as well. Back against the wall, coming off a lost the Tank as well. So
the real question isn't whether Ryan Garcia is talented enough to beat Mario Barrios. It's whether he's finally disciplined enough to stop fighting his own system before he steps into someone else's.